Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Take It to the Hizzy Fantasy Football, TITTH number 128. I'm your host, Justin Bruni. I got Nick Davis with me.
What's up, guys?
And we got Leo this morning as well. Happy Sunday, Leo. How are you?
What's up? Happy Sunday.
Yep, happy Sunday. Welcome to church. We're ready to dial it in here. Kick it.
Yeah, sorry. I love talking football, man.
Yep.
I missed it.
Yeah, missed the football talk for sure. Back at it here. We're going to be going continuously here on Sundays until the start of football season, and then we'll rework the weekly schedule once we get the final go with the other sports. But how are things going, guys? How's your weekend?
I actually just went to sleep after work yesterday, so I was out from 6 till 5 a.m. this morning.
That's fun.
Yeah. Just sleeping, and now I'm talking football. So that's my weekend, guys.
How about you, Leo?
Mine was good. I just rested, relaxed,
Yeah.
Caught up on some TV and tried to sleep and all that, but didn't work out so good.
You got any good shows? I've been looking.
I usually watch like old stuff. I was gearing up for Mania last night. So
Okay.
I watched that.
Okay.
Night 2 is tonight. I'm excited about night 2. I'm going to be prepared for that tonight.
Night 2. They got 2 nights now. Unreal.
Yeah.
This is long ways away from my WrestleMania days. We've just been chilling at the house. The wife got her first COVID shot. So a little fatigued. My car's in the shop, so not really anywhere to go but home. So just been chilling. Let's get into it, though. Let's get into some of our recent news. I know, Leo, you were talking a little bit before the show started about Jerry Jones, your Cowboys. Sounds like he's getting a little infatuated with Kyle Pitts, the tight end. What's up, man? Are they going to wind up taking Kyle Pitts over a defensive need, a highly defensive need on their team? What's up?
I hope not. I hope that I'm hearing that they're talking about trading with Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
At number 4 and picking Kyle Pitts. Like, we picked wide receiver last year. We have enough offense. We need defense. Like, Patrick Surtain is right there. If we do trade the number 4, grab him. Why are you getting a tight end at 4?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you trading at 4? Stay at 10. Keep everyone wanting a quarterback. Have them trade. Stay at 10. Grab a defensive guy. End the night. That's it.
Oh, Jerry Jones can be infatuated, but for Cowboy fans, it seems pretty infuriating.
Yeah, I have a feeling that it's gonna happen, and I'm just, if it does, I'm done. I'm
icky.
Done.
The way I see it is, if you're going to get a tight end, you are definitely going to be throwing for 7,000 yards and like 50 touchdowns, but you're going to have to score 50 points every game. You cannot miss like a possession because that defense could not stop like a cold. I said it in the group chat to the Hizzy. It's just like there are so many other holes, and tight end, like when we've seen like huge tight ends, I think the last tight end that went like top 10 that actually panned out was Vernon Davis. But he was like a physical freak.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw him at Maryland. I was very pumped for him. But like Kyle Pitts being added to that offense where there's so many mouths to feed, and you got 2 running backs, Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, like you're just adding like more confusion, and you couldn't be able to feed someone constantly. Like I feel like Amari Cooper is going to have a lot taken out from his targets and stuff. I just hope that Jerry makes a smart move, but I feel like he's going to get bamboozled into trading up and freaking out that someone's going to steal Kyle Pitts from him. So for me, it's just like, all right, Jerry, like you're definitely going for the money, but do you really want to win a championship? Like that's where my thought would be as a Cowboys fan.
I do think that there's an opportunity to take Pitts. Like if they could move a guy like Michael Gallup, maybe get a pick back and get another pick in the first or maybe the beginning of the second round to go after another corner or another defensive player. maybe they could make that happen, or maybe they trade a future pick plus Michael Gallup and get another first round pick or early second round pick. Maybe then they could have that conversation, but they need more help on defense. They still need some more help on the offensive line. We were always talking about how great the Cowboys offensive line is, but starting to age, these guys keep getting hurt. Martin, my guy from Notre Dame, he's always in and out of the lineup right now, was a rock steady option for them on that offensive line. It's just not the same line that it was, 3 or 4 years ago. So I could also see them using a pick on an offensive lineman. But if they're going to go after Pitts, they're going to have to move one of those offensive weapons. And I don't see it being a tight end or CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper. I know, Nick, you've been kind of I wouldn't call it a hater, but you've been pretty critical of Ezekiel Elliott.
I haven't been critical. I've just been stating facts.
Pretty critical.
His drops have been I don't know, man. Watching the Cowboys, you cannot look at the last year's film and be like, Ezekiel Elliott is the best running back on that team. He has the most talent, but Tony Pollard was actually more electrifying. And I know that Ezekiel Elliott can definitely be one of the top running backs, but he's kind of taking a back seat. I would say he's top tier, but the bottom of the top tier. And Tony Pollard is shooting up the tiers because Tony Pollard can catch. He can run the ball. He can return kicks. There's a lot of versatility, and his contract is not as expensive as Ezekiel Elliott. And last year we saw how Dak went down. If Dak goes down, Zeke should have been running for 2,000 yards, and he wasn't. He was getting his job split with his backup, Tony Pollard. We saw that Zeke isn't actually Batman. He's the Robin of that group, and that's
critical.
People say that about Kyrie Irving all the time, and when he went to the Nets, they're he's now Alfred.
That's being critical of Kyrie Irving then.
Yeah, but it's the facts. You just gotta kind of look at it and just be like, Zeke, you can definitely take your job back. You have every opportunity to. But I remember watching you drop 4 passes, and they weren't even hard passes. They were swing passes. They were screens. It was almost like COVID took away your catching ability.
He did have COVID to start last season.
I was worried.
Last summer.
I was concerned. But we'll see how it comes back. But I hope he does step back up and reclaim his throne as one of the top young running backs, because right now Derrick Henry is smacking the shit out of him in those rankings.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Should he be available on draft night?
I would definitely put him on the trading block. Definitely
see what you get.
Yeah, just shop him. See what you get. And look, man, it's business, bro. Sorry. I want a Super Bowl. I'm 31 years old. I want a Super Bowl that I can wake up the next morning and say, I saw this. Last time I was 6. I had bedtime at 8 o'clock. I couldn't see the Super Bowl. I want to see a Super Bowl. I want to have a championship. I want to be. You
want to see a complete team. You want to see a complete team and not something so lopsided. No one can say that when Dak was in, and even when Andy got his shit together, that the offense wasn't kind of electrifying. It was awesome to watch CeeDee Lamb explode, Michael Gallup, and Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper had one of the best seasons. He had 4 different guys throwing the ball to him. They have the talent there. But in order to win the NFL, you have to have a balanced team. A lot of times we see these quarterbacks that, just an example, Trent Dilfer. Yeah. He did not make mistakes to hurt his team and let the defense shut down the other team.
Yep.
That's how you win in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes, that's a new way of winning the ball, but we see how defense wins the championships. The Legion of Boom. Even those Patriots team, there was only one season where Randy Moss was on that team and they went to the Super Bowl. The rest of the time, it was the defense carrying the team.
The Buccaneers, and they had Brad Johnson.
Exactly. Yeah. Perfect example. Rich Gannon also he had a good defense going in there too. Yeah. But, he's trying to rewrite the book, but your defense is so bad. You need at least one more person on there to at least be able to say okay, now I can start adding to the offense, Yeah.
Excuse me. Absolutely. It's not a mess down there in Dallas. They have the tools they need to put something together, but I think they need to make some trades. They have a lot of talent on offense. They need to get something back on defense here, and it may not even be in the draft. They need to be more aggressive in free agency as well, filling some of these holes here. Yeah, because you're right, Nick. They're going to have to score on every possession next year, especially if they don't draft a young defenseman here in the first round,
or get Richard Sherman. Shit, he's still available. He was great. No, not
Somebody.
Earl Thomas. He's got a lot of issues. He might not even make it due to suspensions for off-field behavior.
But he's a big Jerry guy.
But Richard Sherman, I feel, if you don't get Patrick Surtain, you better sign Richard Sherman the next day. Like that's how you got to
after the pick.
Yeah, after the pick, you're calling Richard Sherman like, hey, what do you need, man? Like, I need you down here. He can help Trevon Diggs and all those young guys grow up. And I think that Sherman is actually a great leader. And that's what they need on that defense. They don't really have that. Sean Lee was it for years, but he, for the past 3 years, he's been in and out with injuries. Yeah. Jalen Smith, he's the leading tackler, but he's more the quiet type, and he just makes the plays. There needs to be a leader on that team. Or defense, sorry.
On the defense. Oh yeah, they got plenty of dogs on offense. And they got Dak. I mean, Dak's leader on offense still.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into the mock draft. If you guys haven't had the opportunity, please be sure to like and share the video and follow us on YouTube / Take It to the Hizzy. All right, we're jumping into Leo's mock draft 3.0. We're just going to run through the 10s and jump into some highlights here. Starting off, of course, we got Trevor Lawrence going to Jacksonville. Zach Wilson going to the Jets. Not really surprised by that. But at number 3, I think we have kind of a shift in comparison to others. Leo, you've got you've got Trey Lance going to the 49ers at pick 3 here. Niners just traded up to that spot. Everything I'm hearing is Mac Jones. So give us some reasons why we need to be looking at Trey Lance being the next quarterback in San Francisco.
I think Trey Lance has what it takes to be a quarterback. Mac Jones is great, but he's an Alabama quarterback. When's the last time an Alabama quarterback has been really good? And at number 3, you're going to trade all of what you did to the Dolphins to draft Mac Jones. And it's like, dude, Trey Lance is the man. Like, he's been talked about. He's been in everybody's mock draft, and I have him at the 49ers at number 3. He's a beast. He's big arm, big talent, somewhat fast, but they need a quarterback that can throw downfield, big arm.
The one thing that I do want to say, I remember we were talking about Trey Lance, me and Justin, and he was actually looking. Or no, that was a Wake Forest guy we were watching. So never mind on that. But Trey Lance, with him being at North Dakota State, do you think that he will be able to basically overcome the level of competition? I mean, it's kind of easy to stand really tall and basically D2 football. But do you think that he'll be able to translate what he did at a lower level to the pros?
Yeah, I really do. He's you can talk about Carson Wentz the same way, and he shined as well. I know he got traded, and I know he had a bum leg and he was hurt, but he did it. A great quarterback. He helped the Eagles get to the playoffs and get where they were. And Trey Lance, I think he can do the same thing. I think he'll be great in the NFL.
Okay.
I think he draws a lot of similarities to what they drafted out of Colin Kaepernick when he was on the squad. A big arm with legs. He can run outside the pocket, can really produce in a play action type of scheme. In comparison to Mac Jones, yeah. I mean, if I'm drafting at 3, I want Trey Lance over Mac Jones. But all the talk, all of the hype is that the Niners made this trade to move up to take Mac Jones. Apparently he's just going to fit really well in their West Coast type of offense and a really run-heavy scheme, and I get that. But I like Trey Lance more. I mean, speaking personally, I would want him, over Mac Jones. I would have Mac Jones probably as like my, 5th or 6th best quarterback coming out of this draft, not number 3. So I think that there's more upside for Trey Lance. If you're asking me going into, the fantasy football season in a standard redraft league, of those guys that are going to be available, those top rookies, I'm not going to be diving after Trevor Lawrence or Zach Wilson. I'm going to get somebody that maybe, a couple of teams are going to forget about in redraft. Maybe go after a guy like Trey Lance or maybe even Kyle Trask. We'll see where he winds up. Guys that have the opportunity that are probably going to be backups when they start the year. But, come the second half of the season, you might see them take a big jump. Or maybe just someone gets hurt in the first couple of weeks, i.e. like a Justin Herbert situation, and you're just thrown to the wolves, right? So, of those guys, I do like Trey Lance over Mac Jones, but the Niners, they seem really keen on selecting him there. Just think that he's going to be a really good fit. Does he kind of remind you guys of like a Matt Ryan light? because I feel like that's what Kyle Shanahan's looking at here is like, hey, this West Coast simple type of offense. I think Matt Jones could be my cheaper version of, going after like Matt Ryan, who we've said the 49ers should be on for this season, especially if Atlanta's looking to unload a big contract like that.
For me, like, if you're going to move up to 3, Trey Lance is that guy that you're going to target. Mac Jones, you can get him at like a discount. Like I know that Leo has a draft, like a trade in here that has him going a little bit higher than 10. But I like Mac Jones. Like if you are such a run dominant team and you are such West Coast, then you don't need a first round quarterback to actually operate that. You just need someone to be able to not make the mistakes, a game manager type. You don't draft a game manager type at 3. Like Alex Smith became a game manager type, but he was more of a mobile quarterback when he first came out. So I feel like if they're going to go up to 3, Trey Lance is their target. Mac Jones, you can get him, if he's a cheaper version of anything, he shouldn't be a pick number 3. He should be like a pick like 15,
Yeah, I agree. And 15 would be to the Patriots, who I believe we'll get to in a little bit. Leo has the Patriots trading up for Mac Jones, actually. Emron's in the chat. Shout out Emron. He's not feeling so well right now. He's got that COVID, got that COVID. Get well soon, sir. But he's saying that Mac Jones is Kirk Cousins 2.0. That's not a great comp.
Yeah, so he got drafted in like the 4th round. So why are you going to go to the 3rd pick and also trade up for it? Like that's not smart football economics.
Emron also mentioned that Justin Fields is getting so overlooked. So that's a nice little segue into our next topic here. Leo, you've got the Bears making a trade with the Falcons. I know you're going to like this one, Emron. Bears trading with the Falcons for pick 4, and they select Justin Fields of Ohio State. How are the Bears going to get that done? What are they going to give up, Leo?
If I was the Bears, I would give up obviously the first round pick this year. I would give up.
They'd have to.
A first and a third next year. Hopefully Atlanta will be like, okay, we will take that, what you have. Far as throwing a player in on that.
It's got to be on defense, in my opinion.
Yeah, it has to be on defense. I would say the Falcons would ask for Khalil Mack in there, so they can trade for that.
Nope, it's not Russ Wilson. Off the table.
What about
challenge flag?
What about one of the safeties? Maybe Jalen Johnson. Is he a corner though?
No, not Jalen Johnson. We just got him in the first round last year. I was not banging his drum. He stuck one in my eye.
Eddie Jackson's a safety.
I wouldn't want to give up Eddie, man. I like Eddie a lot there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're going to be able to give up on defense there. Then that's what's going to make it tough, I think, for the trade is that Atlanta's probably going to want a starter at some position for that high of a draft pick. And I just don't know what they're going to be able to give up for it. Draft picks, sure. I mean, right now, give up whatever, right? But again, this is another situation. I've been talking to you guys about this a lot. Went to the store for Russ Wilson, came home with Andy Dalton. Even Justin Fields to me isn't at that level like what we're trying to go after right now to really reverse, just turn around the franchise, right? Put us in a win now situation. And that's really what it is. Like we were the second to last team in the playoffs behind the football team or in front of the football team. Yeah. So like that's just not good enough to me. And we were right there. We've got, Nick Foles and Andy Dalton right now. They're telling Andy Dalton, hey, the job's yours day one. No, we got to stay hungry in this. To me, I'm still fine with guys like Gardner Minshew, Nick Mullins, just because I've seen what they can actually do on the field in the NFL. And if we need a bridge quarterback, those are my bridge quarterbacks. Hell, I'll send off some back end picks for Drew Lock right now, and he can be my bridge quarterback till we get Arch Manning in the league or whatever. I don't know.
Did anybody see Gardner Minshew's cowboy photo?
Gardner Minshew's cowboy photo.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna tweet that. Like, is he the next Marlboro Man? Is he the next villain of Stranger Things?
That's the American quarterback. I feel like, but I was kind of like, man, like that guy's a great social media presence. I would like Gardner Minshew in Chicago just to give him a chance elsewhere. Like, I think he's gonna be kind of like a nomadic quarterback, and I think that Chicago could definitely use him. And
next Fitzpatrick.
Why not? Just the poor man's Fitzpatrick. I like that. Justin Fields, if you're gonna give up a lot, he has to return and return actually production. And I feel like if that doesn't work out, this is the last chance for Pace. I feel like if he strikes out on Fields.
Last year
think
should
he
have been
will.
Pace and Nagy's last chance.
Yeah, I think Fields will work out. Like you look at a couple months ago, Fields was projected number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Then he somehow Wilson just skyrocketed over, and they pushed Fields back. And it's like Justin Fields has it. If I was the Bears, I would grab Fields if he's available.
The knock on Fields right now is his attitude. He's not the first guy in, last guy out type of fella. He's been noted as being kind of a selfish, I don't know if I'd say player, but individual. Like his head's actually bigger than his arm is. Type of situation.
He did transfer over and then basically was just given the job after Haskins left.
Yeah.
So
and they all the scouts say he's just not very interested in his teammates. He showed up, was more of an individual in the locker room than he was a teammate. And people question how that's going to translate into the NFL. Are we going to have another Dwayne Haskins situation where we got a kid on the sidelines throwing a game-winning touchdown and he's whipping out his Instagram, whipping out his cell phone or whatever? I don't know if teams want to get in that similar situation, and they may feel that because Haskins was a very exciting quarterback at Ohio State and in college, broke tons of records in college, but Justin Fields did almost exactly the same thing with the same type of weapons. I feel like there's a very similar argument for Ohio State versus Alabama quarterbacks here.
I agree on that.
Yeah.
It's really easy to be a quarterback for those two programs because there's so much talent around you, and you really just got to not mess up. Mm-hmm. And you can literally hide a lot of weaknesses. When you asked who's the last quarterback from Alabama to do well, my first thought was Joe Namath. Yeah. It's been that long because you think about all those championships that they had. Tua is considered still up and coming. There's the jury's still out on him,
right.
But you go back, it's McElroy. There's McCarron. He was so good he was blocked from going to another team and then never played again. And then just the other guys, there's no one that actually has panned out in any kind of way. And when they look at the film and just look at the quarterback, man, this guy's really bad. Nick Saban really hit him well on the offense. And you think about the targets that they had, the Waddles, the Judys, the Coopers, they had there's so many guys that literally you throw the ball 5 yards and then you get the next 65 yards that they ran,
oh God.
So that's when you got to kind of look at the player and try and just isolate them when you're looking at the film. I do think that Fields has talent, but the one thing is when he's talking about selfish players, he transferred from Georgia where he didn't get the job. Mm-hmm. And the guy who actually was there, Jake Fromm, he's nowhere to be found in the first round. He's in or he got drafted way later or something like that. So I can see the selfish attitude because, Tate Martell had the same kind of issue, And that kind of makes you big head because you're not overcoming adversity. And I can understand why that holds him back. But, if you're going to take a chance on him. But this is a make or break move.
Poor Tate Martell. Is he coming in as a wide receiver in this draft?
Oh, yeah. 7th round. Bill Belichick's going to target him and make him into a Gunnar Olszewski or something.
I'd rather take Eastern Illinois wide receivers. Thank you very much. Just saying. All right, let's move on to the next one. We'll go through a few picks here. So we got Penei Sewell going to the Bengals at pick 5. This is kind of another one that we'll jump into here.
Love it.
The Bengals, in our opinion, this is very similar to your Dallas situation, Leo. I think we are all in the same boat. Bengals need to go after Sewell, but there's still a lot of talk. Do they go after Kyle Pitts? Do they go after Jamar Chase? What do you guys think? Offense or the offensive line? I think skill player or the offensive line?
Go ahead, Leo.
I think the offensive line. You
I agree.
You invested a number 1 pick last year in Joe Burrow. Mm-hmm. And if you draft, let's say Pitts or Chase, is Burrow going to stay up to throw to those guys? Mm-hmm. You need an offensive lineman in Cincinnati, and it could be Zach Taylor, the head coach. It could be his last year. He was on the hot seat, and it's dude, you drafted Burrow 1. Get the best offensive lineman in the draft at 5. If he falls to 5, it's dude, grab him.
You have to
run that pick up there, grab him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't let any time fall between picks. But yeah, with Burrow's knee getting obliterated like it was, is there not a max protect call? Usually they make that kind of call at the line, but
Buffalo,
something. something, but they just need guys in front of him. Honestly, I like the targets that he has right now.
I do too.
Maybe like a better tight end, but I think Usman did really well while he was in, and he just got hurt. So you could let him ride a little bit, see how he produces. But you kind of got pretty much your target set, and Burrow made him look really good last year with what they had. And those 3 seconds in the NFL from snap to quarterback is really freaking fast, and you need to try and extend that as much time as possible. To protect your basically your franchise, like everybody was excited. Like no matter who you were, as long as you love football, you were excited for the Bengals and excited for Burrow, and just seeing like, man, like I hope the Bengals just have a successful season. That's all I really ask. They've been toiling a lot. The Browns got their years, they've been having success. Now it's the Bengals' turn. Like I hope that we don't see another injury to Joe Burrow like we did. And I hope they start making the smart moves, because if I was a fan of Cincinnati, I'd be real freaking angry if they grabbed Kyle Pitts, because he is a receiver, not a blocking tight end. He's not going to be blocking. He'd be going downfield. So this would be a smart pick to, save the next 5 years of your team at least.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. And I think what we want to see less of is those straight runs out of Joe Burrow. Like every time the play's collapsing and he's in a full shotgun set with nobody in the backfield with him, running for his life, he's just going up for sometimes 7 to 14 yards right up the middle. We don't need to continue to see that happen. And he has the weapons there where they don't need to run plays like that or put themselves in a situation where you have your young quarterback literally running for his life. Just go ahead and spend the pick on Sewell, protect your asset in Burrow, and I mean, essentially protect your first overall pick from the year prior. Like, come on, like
this is how you build a franchise. And don't like if he falls to you at 5, there's a high chance that he could not fall to you at 5. But if he does fall to you at 5, this is how you build the franchise, man. Like you gotta try and protect your number one investment, your quarterback, and get a number one offensive tackle. Everyone else that's drooling over,
Yeah,
absolutely.
You don't pick him, you could be picking number 1 next year. It could be you don't pick the number 1 guy, you'll be picking number 1 next year, and
maybe the next couple of years.
Yeah, then what? What are you going to do then?
Yeah.
Next year's draft definitely not as juicy as this one for sure. Next up, we've got Jamar Chase going to the Dolphins. Not really a big shocker there. I think we can all agree on that, or have some upside for it. But the next one, big one, we got a trade between the Detroit Lions and the New England Patriots. Patriots moving up to pick 7 to take Mac Jones. What are they giving up for that, Leo? And do you think that they absolutely have to move up for him?
I think that they're moving up because they're scared. I think they're scared that someone's going to take them. I mean, take him. But, as far as giving up some stuff, this year, Belichick's done some crazy things. They spent so much money in free agency, something that they have never done before. I could see them giving up a first-round pick next year and maybe a third next year. And if the Lions are like, you know what, we don't want that, I think Belichick would be like, okay, that's cool, and just back off. But, I don't think it's going to take a lot for Detroit to get them to take their pick because of the Jared Goff trade. Detroit has a lot of draft capital next year, a whole lot. So I think, the Patriots can say, hey, we'll give you this year's first, next year's third, give us a number 7 pick. And Mac Jones is that choice if the Lions accept that pick.
Right. I mean, I could still see the Lions going after one of the receivers. If Jamar Chase was sitting there, if Devonta Smith was sitting there, what do you guys think?
I think Devonta Smith would be a better pick. I think that Devonta Smith works very well in open space, and I think with Jared Goff's style of play, you're going to have to get the ball quick out of his hands, and I think Devonta Smith would be the better pick for that offense. If it was Matt Stafford, I would just say any of them. I don't really care because Matt Stafford can get the ball to anybody. So I would say Smith would be the better pick if Detroit were to stay and get a wide receiver.
What if the Lions were to go out and get to take Pitts? Let's say he's there.
I mean, 2 tight ends. I mean, New England showed a blueprint how it can work. Like,
oh, God. We're going to get that blueprint back this year. Speaking of that, we were talking about the Bengals. Very disappointed, or not disappointed. I was upset with the Patriots knob gobbling all the tight ends because I wanted Hunter Henry to go to the Bengals. That would have been a good fit.
Yeah,
Bengals had the cash to spend. Patriots just got to him first, in my opinion. And they got Jonnu Smith. Like, what the hell?
and also the
Shit ain't right.
pedigree. Like,
That shit ain't right.
I didn't like how Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry went to the Patriots in the same season or same offseason. Like, it just kind of was like, dang, man. Like, I wish that those guys were able to, like, spread out because those guys are pretty electric on their own. But,
Right.
I mean, we're seeing it come back. And I would say if Detroit still has a pick and Pitts is available, I could see them taking it. I mean, that's pretty lethal. Hawkinson did really well last year, I feel.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He was one of their best weapons on offense, in my opinion. Just always good for that touchdown per game. With the Patriots here, I mean, we're hearing also a lot of talk about them just going after a quarterback in free agency. So, I mean, I'm going to check myself with the Aaron Rodgers rumors. Like, that's a bit much.
I saw that.
I'm
serious.
I don't buy that for a second. But I do give credence to a move for Garoppolo. So I'll ask you that. Would you rather have Garoppolo or Mac Jones? Because San Francisco's in the same boat. If you're New England, you drafted Garoppolo. You might know him a little bit better. Who would you rather have?
Mac Jones because the contract.
Yeah.
I don't think Jimmy's worth his contract right now, and that would really hamstrung Belichick, and I don't think he wants to do that. I feel like if he were to acquire him, he would have 49ers would have to eat some contract.
Sure.
And if they were able to eat some contract, I could definitely see that happening. But right now, with just A to B, I'm going to say Mac Jones.
Yeah.
I got to go Garoppolo. Got to go with my guy.
I'm with Nick. I would say Mac Jones because of the contract. And yeah, I would say Mac.
Alabama quarterbacks. I thought they were all bad guys. What happened? It was like 5 minutes ago.
Belichick can make anything possible.
I gotcha. All right. So then at pick 8, I got to move over here. At pick 8, you do have Devontae Smith going over Kyle Pitts to the Carolina Panthers. Why do the Carolina Panthers need another receiver?
I think that Devontae Smith is – I think that if he's there, Carolina is going to take him. He's just that special. And Carolina is like, oh, we want another receiver. He can pair well with DJ and Robbie. So, I think that Smith would be perfect. He can play. He possibly can be number 1 if he gets drafted to Carolina. He can possibly take the number 1 spot. Robbie number 2. DJ in the slots.
Wow, DJ falling down. I don't know, man. I feel like they're a little rich at the position right now. And, as expected, CMC is going to catch a lot of balls out of the backfield. I feel like they need a tight end. I mean, I would prefer Kyle Pitts over Devontae Smith, just given the need. Like, you're still running with Ian Thomas at tight end. Maybe they go out and get a Trey Burton, or maybe they go out and get a Tyler Eifert, but that's not enough. You know what I mean? And you just got Sam Darnold here. I would think if they're going to go offense, it would be Pitts or an offensive lineman. Maybe Rashawn Slater, who you have going a pick later.
I kind of like Devonta Smith. They showed that they were able to have success with DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson with Curtis Samuel being there. I could see Devonta Smith taking the same role as Curtis Samuel, just being a little bit smaller, but he's a lot faster and a lot quicker. So I think that they are a little rich, but it kind of like makes up for the fact that they don't have to have like a premier tight end. They're going to be more of an aerial team and also more of like a screen team trying to have their receivers work in space. I like the pick. It would just you're kind of showing your hand on how the game's going to go. You're going to go 1 wide receiver and 3 wide receivers and 1 running back, which is going to be Christian McCaffrey, and that's basically going to be your formation for basically the entire time. So, it's just which strategy they want to go. Devonta's okay, but an O lineman wouldn't be bad either because it just gives more protection for your assets that you already have right now. And you acquired Sam Darnold. It would be great to have some protection for him, see what he can actually do instead of seeing ghosts and running for his life.
We're not even going to jump on that. I mean, kind of diving into that trade a little bit. I mean, I like it. If Carolina says, hey, Sam, you're our guy, then, hey, Carolina, you did a good job, right? But if I'm an NFL GM, I don't look at Sam Darnold tape and just like my hair's blown back. You know what I mean? Like, there are great moments. There are some big plays that he's made, but in between is filled with a lot of garbage. And I understand it. Adam Gase was there. He was probably the biggest problem. We've dogged him a lot last season. We dogged him a lot coming into last season. But at the end of the day, like Sam Darnold still got to step up. It's
absolutely.
We use the reference keys to the city all the time. You've got everything you need, Sam Darnold. You've got every weapon that you need on offense. You'll have protection. You'll have the biggest safety valve of all safety valves in CMC. You'll have quick hitting guys like Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore that can cross against the middle, that can go deep on the outside. Maybe they get a Devontae Smith and they add another speedy weapon for him. So he'll have nothing but upside this year, but he's still got to show up for it. He's still got to prove it to everybody watching.
Make it or break it this year for him.
Exactly. Next up, we're going to slide down a little bit to pick 19. You got a lot of heat for this one on social media, Leo, so we want to give you the opportunity to stand your ground. You've got Kyle Pitts going at number 19 to the Washington football team. How does he slip that far?
It's need. Like in this draft, a lot of teams need quarterbacks. A lot of teams need offensive linemen. A lot of teams do not need a skilled player in like a tight end or a wide receiver. Kyle Pitts, I feel he's going to fall to the Washington football team, and that's a perfect pick. I don't remember the last time Washington had a dominant tight end, good tight end, other than Chris Cooley, and he was fullback, and then he was tight end.
H-back.
He was catching balls through walls. Remember that commercial? Love it.
With them spending all that draft on defense, why not offense? Why not help the quarterback with a Kyle Pitts? You have Kyle Pitts, you have Curtis Samuels, you have
it's a home run pick for the football
McLaurin,
team. I just don't know how he gets there. I don't know how he gets to 19. That's the thing. And I get that. I know that teams don't need it, but they see the talent. Your boy Jerry Jones, he sees the talent. He wants to get in on it. I just have a hard time watching him slip that far down for a guy that's being touted as a top 10 pick. Maybe he is I'm not saying he's Vernon Davis, but maybe he is that next generational tight end. And I'm not even going to say he does anything his first year, because first year tight ends, they're just not that productive in the NFL. There's plenty of numbers to back it up, right? So he can still go. He can still go top 10, not do anything but pan out to be a great tight end for years to come.
But I can see a lot of teams trading trading to get quarterbacks, trading to get offensive linemen, and then he just slips. Like he just slips, and then the football team's like, hey, he's here. Let's take him.
Hey,
let's grab him. Nobody else is grabbing him, and they could have him. They could have him, and then bam, perfect offense. No,
bro, I love it. I absolutely love it if they were able to get him. Logan Thomas, Kyle Pitts, Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Antonio Gibson, bro. Football team, come get your ship. I love it. They got a young, aggressive defense right now. That would really put their offense into a great position. I just don't know if they're going to be able to pull it off.
The one thing I'm going to say is Kyle Pitts going to Washington football team at 19. That's like such a great value pick. It's almost so perfect. It's not going to happen. I honestly see the Washington football team, if they are going to take Kyle Pitts, they're going to trade up to take him. They're talking about like trading up to like get a quarterback. I do not see that happening. We've already seen what happened with Robert Griffin, and the guy that was drafted 3 rounds after him was actually more successful and made more money. The last time that the Washington football team actually had a good tight end, it was Jordan Reed, but he was not like consistent in any kind of way. When he was on, he was electric, and he actually went to Florida too. He is basically what Kyle Pitts could be, and I'm gonna go against the green here with Justin on first year tight ends not having success. Yes, that is absolutely true, but I feel like Kyle Pitts is gonna be more of a wide receiver. Like I see that happening more. I see Logan Thomas being relegated to that blocking role, but still being that second tight end. Kyle Pitts is going to be going downfield. I do not see him blocking one damn time in the NFL. Like if you're going to be spending a first round pick on someone that's supposed to be who Daniel Jeremiah has second overall for draft prospects, if you're going to draft him, you're going to be sending him downfield because you want to get your money's worth and your draft pick's worth. So it's a great pick, but like Justin said, I do not think he slides this far down. I do see someone trading up and being like, you know what? He fell out of the top 10. It's 11. I need to go get him right now. I see someone doing something like that.
No, I mean, as far as like his production, like in the league, it's always going to depend on where he goes, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I mean, if he goes to, trying to think of like one of these like top teams up here. If he goes to Detroit, right? Like if he went to Detroit, he's going to have TJ Hawkinson next to him, who's another receiving tight end, right? He may not have as good a season if he went to even the Dolphins. If the Dolphins fired up Kyle Pitts and Mike Gesicki, you know what I mean? Like,
wow, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, I think he would have a better season with the Dolphins than he would the Lions, because he'd probably be getting more looks. You know, he'd have a little bit more opportunity in that offense. So to me, it's always going to depend on just, where you wind up, what the scheme is, and how they're going to prioritize you. The Chicago Bears, I knocked them a ton in the last year's draft because they drafted Cole Kmet. No one between them and their next pick needed a tight end. Yeah. But they went after it, and I'm expecting big things from Cole Kmet this season, but I wasn't last year.
Yeah.
No, but he still got some rack. He still got some playing time towards the end of the year. And that could be a similar situation where Kyle Pitts does have a slow start on a team that, doesn't necessarily need to overuse the tight end position to start the year. You get one injury, maybe to a receiver, even a tight end. Those things can change, from week to week. So,
gotcha.
But I'll be really high on him in redraft leagues in year 2 for sure. Like in Dynasty, absolutely, you want to go after Kyle Pitts as early as you can. Barring those top guys like the Kittles, the Wallers, even Kelsey's still. But in redraft leagues, he's just not going to hold a ton of value in year 1. I think he'll be a top guy, probably top 5 even in year 2 and year 3.
Okay.
Next up, we've got some running backs in Najee Harris going to the Jets, and was it Javonte Williams going to North Carolina? Or I'm sorry, going to the Steelers out of North Carolina. So talk to me about some of those guys ahead of like a Travis Etienne, who you have going in the back of this first round.
Yeah, Najee Harris in my draft before this draft, I had him going to Pittsburgh, but I feel that the Jets right now they're like, look, Alabama running back, looking at Derrick Henry, they're like, oh, he might be the next Derrick Henry. We need a running back. They're going to pull the trigger on Harris, and that will leave Pittsburgh like, we need Williams. But I think that Williams is legit. Like he's turning out to be really good. I feel that, he will be the breakout running back this year out of all the rookie running backs, only because he's like overlooked, and they're like, oh, he's not a top guy because he goes to North Carolina. He's like, no, I'm going to run this ball, especially at Pittsburgh, where Pittsburgh they need a running back. They need a running back. They need someone to tote that rock.
So I'm going to say that the picks are going to be reversed. I see Javonte Williams going to New York Jets because I've seen his film.
First off the board, wow.
I've seen his film. It's very explosive. He breaks tackles very easily. He has that breakaway speed. I feel that fits more of like – I feel like Robert Saleh is going to take some of that zone running away from Shanahan and bring that to New York. I feel that Williams is definitely more fitted towards that style than Najee Harris. Najee Harris is the prototypical Pittsburgh Steelers running back. And the role that James Conner has was that inside the tackles running back and get that short yardage gain. And if he breaks one, sure, break one. But James Conner couldn't hold up. Najee Harris will. The Steelers have spent draft capital on those scat backs and those third down backs, but they need a power back. That's what they need, because they have like almost an inability to get that short yardage, and they have to rely on screens and having the receivers get open field. I feel that Najee Harris is that perfect guy, and I think that the Jets are going to be a little bit more enamored with the breakaway speed of Javonte Williams than Najee Harris' power, because I see Najee Harris being more in the mold of Le'Veon Bell, which we've seen did not work in New York.
Yeah, I would prefer Najee Harris didn't go, or actually to the Jets is fine. I would prefer he not go to the Steelers. Steelers got a lot of mouths to feed right now. They still got Benny Snell, Anthony McFarland, who they drafted last year, and they've since signed Kalen Ballage this offseason. Not a high-end move by any means, but Kalen Ballage was getting a lot of usage in Los Angeles this year with Justin Herbert, catching a lot of balls out of that backfield. And I think that Mike Tomlin, he saw some of that, and he was like, hey, come over here, buddy. We're going to help you out. And I could also still see the Steelers bringing back James Conner on a buy low deal. So I would not want to see Najee Harris go there. I don't mind the Jets. I don't mind the pick. I do still think that he is the first running back off the board. But Javonte Smith going to the Steelers, you're just saying that is more of like a kind of gadget take. He's just going to be used as like the speed guy there.
Yeah,
I could see that.
The speed guy, like a Willie Parker was when Willie Parker was in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Man, back in the day.
Yep.
Yeah, he's more like a speed guy and help out the screens and all that, and then give him the rock. He can break one and go.
Yeah, I don't hate that whatsoever. I wouldn't want to see Harris with the Steelers, though. That would drive me a little bit nuts, especially in fantasy, because I do feel like people want Najee in redraft this year. I feel like they look at him as an opportunity, and there's already people drafting him in Dynasty not knowing what his fate is going to hold yet, right? People are pulling him into fourth, fifth round in Dynasty startups and whatnot. He's going pretty early, so without really knowing his fate yet, if he went to a team like the Steelers, I would not be a buyer of him early because they are going to have some mouths to feed back there. And I think that in the past, Tomlin saw the upside of using like that one guy, the Lev Bell, the James Conner situations, and now he's seen the fruition of those. Bell gone, done, right? Conner could potentially be gone. Maybe they do bring him back on a 1 or 2 year buy low deal, but I don't see it. He has run his guys into the ground, and I think he's going to start going to that committee usage a little bit more. And honestly, I don't hate these guys that he already has. And Benny Snell, Anthony McFarland, who I still think has plenty of upside to have a sophomore resurgence or blow up the spot with more opportunity. And I do like a guy like Kalen Ballage. He was someone that I was picking up off of waivers this past year and really helping me fill in some injuries and some bye weeks. So I really don't hate the guys that they already have, and they've already got a ton of weapons at wide receiver. You know what I mean? Like they're going to be spreading the ball around. So I like Javonte Williams there a little bit more. Javonte Williams there a little bit more. Let's wrap up the back end of your first round that is very offensively heavy. I'm just going to go run through this list here. Kadarius Toney to the Jags, Terrence Marshall out of LSU to the Browns, Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota to the Ravens. Love that one. Yes. Rondell Moore, wide receiver to the Packers, and Travis Etienne to the Bills. Let's start with the Bills at the last pick of the draft. Do you think Etienne goes that far after potentially Williams and Harris going about 7 or 8 picks ahead?
I do. I think that Travis is more of a speed screen back. He's not I'll give you the ball, you can run 20, 25 touches a game. He's not that back. I feel that he's more like a LaShawn McCoy type back.
Okay.
Get the ball, run. And Buffalo's a perfect pick right there. Buffalo's at a spot where they're like, okay, we need a speed person on the offense other than Diggs and other than that's all I know right now. Diggs, but
they lost John Brown.
Yeah,
gone.
Yeah. So I think Travis is right there, and they'll grab him.
Mm-hmm. They also signed Emmanuel Sanders and Matt Breida. I like it. I think he'd be a good fit there. I'm just not sure that Buffalo wants to make that commitment. I feel like they would rather be on one of those wide receivers that could potentially fall because they did lose John Brown. Manny Sanders is a good little fill-in for the year, maybe 2 potentially, but I think that they need to re-up at wide receiver. I like Gabriel Davis. Obviously, Stephon Diggs is going to be the feature weapon in that offense, but the reason why I like the ETN pick is I don't love Singletary and I don't love Zach Moss. Was Zach Moss a first-round pick last year or second round?
I think it was second round.
Yeah, he was second round.
They were both very disappointing.
Yeah, they have been, and I feel like the Bills are still trying to decide like which one of these guys do we really want to use here. And that's what really concerns me is about picking another running back is like you're gonna have 3 of these guys now. You know what I mean? And realistically, it's just gonna be Josh Allen running for his life.
Yeah.
Giving one of those guys a screen. I think that Etienne would fit well in, play action type of options where, he can catch a ball in the backfield, get into motion. But he is definitely going to be more of a third down guy. That's why, who are you using on first and second? Zach Moss,
Josh Allen.
And then what do you get out of Devin Singletary? It's what do you do there? You might have too many mouths to feed. So that would be my only concern about it. The Packers picking Rondell Moore, picking a skill player. Is that the skill player we're like most comfortable with for the Packers? I mean, at the end of the day, they don't usually use this draft real estate for skill players. So what do you think?
I mean, it's basically like a second-round pick. I've seen some film on Rondell Moore. He's like 5'8", but like scary quick. Like I've seen him cook some people on his route running. I think he would be a perfect pick for the Packers. Give Aaron Rodgers some freaking support instead of just taking a quarterback and then taking a running back. Like you did everything but help Aaron Rodgers, and he still got you an MVP season. So give him some freaking help, and he'll, you guys could possibly contend for the Super Bowl. Like, be in the Super Bowl next year with just having drafting a wide receiver, because we've seen Aaron Rodgers work with basically like a bag of chips sometimes.
Literally.
So I like him there for sure.
I'm high on Allen Lazard, but he can't stay healthy. Go ahead, Leo.
Yeah, I have him. I have more at the Packers because they missed out on Will Fuller. Everybody was talking about, they're going to trade for Will Fuller. They're going to pick him up in free agency. Nothing happened. And I think that the Packers, with this pick, this is a perfect pick. This is a perfect pick for them. Just like Nick said, he could be that guy to take them to the Super Bowl. Like, he could be that piece. He's like, all right, I have this piece now. I can throw to him. And Rodgers need help. Like, he needs help. If you're not going to help him, get him out of there. Like, if you're not going to help him,
seriously,
trade him, because it's terrible. Like, it's terrible.
He has just about the same amount of support as Sam Darnold does. The Packers are just lucky as shit that they have Devontae Adams. Like, and
Aaron Jones.
Yeah, like they're lucky as hell. But like, if you think about it, those guys were drafted by them, and Jones wasn't even a first-round pick. Adams was. Took him a couple years, but now he's actually a legit wide receiver. And it's just like, dude, you got Aaron Rodgers, would you guys consider Aaron Rodgers better than Brett Favre? I would say so. Yes. And you're literally wasting his years. And he's like, what is he, like 39, 40, and he gave you an MVP season, and you guys are just like sitting around twiddling your thumbs like, should I draft a fullback? Should I draft a defensive tackle? Like, you're literally choosing every position that does not help Aaron Rodgers, and he's literally like costing you $100 million. I don't understand it.
He's 37. I think we got 5 really, really, really good years left.
Yeah, I definitely see it. This is not the end of Aaron Rodgers. And just and like Leo said, if you're not going to support him, get rid of him. Like, rock Jordan Love, who can't even hit a swing pass. Like, go ahead.
That drives me crazy. That dude wasn't even dressed. He didn't even dress for games this year. First overall pick for the Packers. Like,
that's unbelievable.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
Imran's
in the chat saying it's his last year in Green Bay for Aaron Rodgers.
Can we talk about Rashad Bateman real quick?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, I love this pick, Rashad Bateman, because I think that, everybody on Twitter has been saying that, we're going to get this wide receiver, we're going to get that wide receiver. And I'm like, hold on a second. They're free agents. They actually have a freaking choice. And they know that the offensive philosophy is actually like 54% run, 46% pass. And those are opportunities being taken away from the wide receivers. That's why Baltimore has not been able to grab a wide receiver out of free agency. Rashad Bateman is that guy that you can draft and build up and have on your team and be a legitimate number 1 receiver. I was very impressed with him at Minnesota. I think that this kind of pick would definitely take the team over the edge instead of having Lamar Jackson SpongeBob his way down the field for 3 yards every play. You guys, there has to be some vertical threats. You can draft all you want, to be completely honest. And honestly, you can draft Rashad Bateman and still fuck it up. But there has to be a little bit more passing on the team. Like, we cannot be continue to wait or use Lamar Jackson. Every hit he takes, that's taking time off of his shelf life. And he needs to become more of a pocket quarterback to extend his career. He has the ability to. We've seen it. Why did you change the philosophy like that? Mark Andrews should honestly be a number 1 tight end in the league because he has that ability and Lamar Jackson can do it, but they choose to run the ball every damn time. Get Bateman, change the philosophy a little bit. Maybe I would say 52% run, 48% pass. I'm okay with, because that actually means that you're a little bit more balanced. You can get the ball down the field and have a little bit more of a vertical threat, and a team and your defenses that you're going against can't predict your play every freaking time. It was so easy to predict what was going to happen. It's insane.
Yeah, Sammy Watkins got with Greg Roman on a day 1. he says, "Oh yeah, Greg assured me we're opening up the offense, we're passing more." So I think Bateman would be a great selection there. I'm just not sure if he lasts that long. If he gets into the back end of the draft, I could honestly see him getting picked in the middle of the first round. Still,
I'll take Kadarius Toney too.
Yeah, Kadarius Toney.
I love Kadarius Toney. If he goes to the Jaguars and actually the Jaguars stay with a quarterback for their pick, that would be electric.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would, and also have DJ Shark down there. It's gonna be fun to watch the Jaguars a little bit if Kadarius Toney goes there.
Yeah.
But I would take him too if those two switch spots or. You know what? Even Terrence Marshall, I'll take an LSU wide receiver. Those guys are good as hell. I don't know what's in the water down there, but the receivers are just, elite. I'll take him too. But Rashad Bateman, I feel like he's like the perfect pick.
No, absolutely. Like I said, I just don't know if he lasts that long for the Ravens. What are they picking at?
27.
27.
Yeah.
I could see Bateman going in the middle of this round still, anywhere from 15 to 20. If not earlier still, especially if we see Chase and Smith go off the board quickly. There's a lot of people that are on the side that Bateman could be the best receiver in this draft, even ahead of Waddle.
Yeah, true.
All right, let's move on to some of our remaining free agents. Talk about some of these guys that have not found a home yet. If you guys haven't had the opportunity, please be sure to like and share the video and follow us on YouTube /Take It to the Hizzy. First guy up in free agency, we've got Comeback Player of the Year. They need to rename the award after this guy, Alex Smith. The man needs a new home. Actually, we'll put up both quarterbacks, Alex Smith and Nick Mullins. Where are some potential spots you could see these guys this year where they could even find potential fantasy relevancy?
I would like Nick Mullins as a backup quarterback in Dallas. Okay. I think that he would be a great young backup to learn the system. When he came in for Jimmy Garoppolo, I was kind of impressed with how he played. He did make mistakes, but he is a younger quarterback, so it's kind of expected. Nick Mullins being a backup in Dallas would be great. Alex Smith, man, it's so hard for me to be like, yeah, I'm okay with him playing football. He's shown that he can do it, but man, that just scares the hell out of me. If anything, I would say, maybe the Bears. If they're willing to take another quarterback, by all means, take Nick Mullins. I'm okay with it. I'm good. Maybe as an insurance policy in Miami for Tua.
Love it.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. He could be a great insurance policy. I wouldn't want to sign him as a starter, but for someone to kind of fill in if there's an injury or someone's a little cold, I think he can come in and jog the team back into success.
Emron's in the chat. He mentioned the Jaguars for Alex Smith. Be a nice little mentor for Trev. I don't hate that either.
I don't hate that.
Houston is a name that I'm continually seeing for Alex Smith, just because of the Deshaun Watson situation. But I also don't think that that's a bad backup in Houston. At the same time, I don't know what the hell Houston is doing. Houston, we definitely have a problem with all these running backs that you're signing. I don't get it. You have 4 guys that could be, potential spellback. You don't even have a guy that can really even be a true number 1 right now, other than maybe David Johnson.
Even
if he's even that guy still.
Yeah, he's more of a 1B kind of guy too, because he just he was so electric in Arizona, but then after he hurt his arm, as a running back, when you hurt your arm, you're kind of expecting, oh, okay, it's not a knee, it's not an ankle, speed's still there, but he hasn't come back at all, and it's been a couple years, so been very disappointing. I think they're just sometimes I feel like these teams are signing players, a bulk of them at a certain position as a strategy. Yeah, all right, we're gonna take all the guys for all the back end running backs that we think that can help other teams. We're gonna just have them all on our team. We don't know what to do with them yet, but we're just gonna keep them there because it's not gonna help the other teams.
Right.
That's kind of how I see sometimes. But man, Houston's got some issues going on. I'm okay with Alex Smith going there. Maybe he can kind of bring them back from the grave almost. There's a lot of bad PR.
I.e. WFT.
Yeah.
He did the same thing for the football team that was just hammered with bad press. And here comes Alex Smith to save the day. Feel good story. I don't have 2 legs. Come on.
I still hate Dan Snyder. Screw him.
I still hate Dan Snyder.
I can
go ahead, Leo.
As far as Houston for Alex Smith, I don't see that. I see Alex Smith going to Dallas as a backup. If Dak goes down, Alex Smith is perfect. He's a game manager. He'll be perfect in that offense. He'll motivate everyone. He's, it's a feel good story. Like you're like, I came back off of a mangled leg. I'm back. You know what I mean? And I feel that with a team like Houston, I don't see him going to Houston at all. I don't see him going to Houston. I see him going to Dallas.
What about like the Vikings or the Broncos?
Broncos. Ooh, he could maybe help them a lot. Maybe when, after Drew Lock throws like 3 interceptions and a half, I think that, Alex Smith would be a great fill-in for him, to finish out the game, maybe get a win. I like that. Minnesota, I don't know, man. Kirk is very durable. He hasn't missed a game.
Just a backup.
I mean, as a backup, but
durable quarterback, great for Alex Smith. Sit down, son. Stay down.
Okay, you know what? If he wants to get paid and have the best position of football as backup quarterback, then I mean that's absolutely possible because Kirk does not get hurt. Like knock on wood, I really hope that he stays healthy again this season, but he doesn't really get hurt. He even in Washington, he was very durable and he took a lot of hits. I saw a lot of them, but that's okay with me.
Yeah, I do like the Dolphins, like you mentioned, for Nick Mullins. All of those weapons they're going to have: Devontae Parker, Will Fuller, Mike Gesicki. You got Myles Gaskin still. Our boy, Salvin Ahmed.
Preston Williams is coming back from injury too. I mean, man, if he can stay healthy, he can be like a Michael Gallup type, like where you're just like, man, he's a really good number 2.
No, those weapons would be huge upgrades from what Mullins had in San Francisco when he was getting playing time this year.
Yeah,
like none of those would be in comparison. So I would love that spot for him as a backup. Honestly, no offense to Tua, but I could see him competing.
I mean,
Tua didn't blow me away this year. No, I'm sorry, he did not. Fitzpatrick still looked like the better quarterback between the two.
I don't understand people's like infatuation. Like you got to kind of realize the facts. Like he does have skill. But I wasn't like blown away, and it wasn't like he was like actually being the forefront of why they're winning the game. And if you're still having an older quarterback come in and be the closer, are you exactly having success even with the team? Like the team sees that as like, okay, well, why did they take out Fitzpatrick, who was literally leading the team to a Super Bowl, and then cuts him off at the legs and puts Tua in, and then you are winning games, but it's not the same kind of winning, and it's hard on the team and morale.
And this offseason, they were completely targeting Deshaun Watson until all of the legal issues came up.
Yeah.
So how does the locker room respond to that? It's like, okay, last year our rookie quarterback, who is now made the starter, how many games through? It
was like 8.
Something like that. I don't know. Fitzpatrick was quarterback 9 or quarterback 10 on the year. It was absolutely ridiculous to have him be replaced whatsoever. And they said, "Oh, well, we want to see what he does for us. We want to get a different look." Right? He said the exact same thing when they took Tua out and they put Fitzpatrick in at the end of that Raiders game. Oh, we wanted a different look on offense. No shit, you wanted a different look because the look that you were getting was shit. Like, I don't trust Tua yet. I love the weapons that they've got. They've put all the pieces around him that they need to succeed. You just got to get it done. Another guy that's in a position to, hey, put one in our eye. We're saying or we're being critical of you. Show us why not to be, right? Come on. Give us something to work with here.
Yeah, please.
All right, next up, we've got a whole slew of running backs here. We've got Duke Johnson, Adrian Peterson, Le'Veon Bell, James Conner, Todd Gurley. I guess I'll start with who's got the most left in the tank? Who are you guys riding with? If you're an NFL GM, who are you targeting, from this bunch?
Duke Johnson and Le'Veon Bell. Adrian Peterson, he's probably going to get maybe 650 yards on the season. He is declining. Has been bouncing around to a lot of teams. He is going to find somewhere to play, and he's probably going to end up getting a couple carries. But Duke Johnson, he is a very good scat back. He's not exactly like a runner like Adrian Peterson is. Le'Veon Bell, he definitely has stuff left in the tank. He just wanted to get that Super Bowl. I think he is going to try and get I think he's going to have a prove it deal. That's what I think is going to happen because he hasn't been the same Le'Veon Bell that was before the holdout. So it's going to be a prove it deal for him. Todd Gurley, what a short prime. I saw someone say it was like the shortest prime in NFL history. I was like, dang, that's true. Like he has a couple good years. He has touchdown ability, but he's not the same running back that he was when the Rams went to the Super Bowl. And even on that run, they were holding him back.
Right.
So there was issues there. I don't see him being a backup for the rest of his career, if anything, for the next 3 years if he stays on. James Conner, you know what? Houston can use another running back. I think just throw him in the mix too. Why not?
Put 5 RBs on the field at a time.
Oh, you know who'd be a great place? San Francisco. San Francisco would be a great place because their running backs seem to have some injury history.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he would at least get a crack at a 100-yard game.
Any destinations you like for any of those players, Leo?
Actually, Le'Veon Bell, I like the 49ers. I like the 49ers for Le'Veon Bell. I think that would be if the 49ers take a quarterback at number 3. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If Le'Veon Bell is that perfect running back that's like, okay, I've been there before. I know what I'm doing. You know, he's big. He's, explosive if he gets open. I think Bell would be a great pick for the 49ers. Just like Nick says, Todd Gurley, I think he's done. Like, I don't see him. I see him as a backup, but I don't see him the same Todd Gurley as it was in the Super Bowls.
Sure. I could see Todd Gurley getting some red zone usage. I mean, that's how he was getting fantasy relevancy last year was red zone touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
So I think he still has, in between the end zone and the 15-yard line, I think he can get it done. So any team that's looking for a potential, goal line guy or someone to just come in and, give a different look in the red zone, teams that I like for that, I mean, not for Todd Gurley specifically, but the Bengals, Joe Mixon needs somebody behind him right now. Doesn't really have anybody. He's typically injury prone. The Titans, I think that they need to get somebody else behind Derrick Henry still. Potentially a change of pace guy like a Duke Johnson or maybe even a James Conner. I'm not saying James Conner's got a ton of speed left, but I would like how those two could complement each other. And you don't need to ask Conner to do a whole lot. The Cardinals, they absolutely need a guy. Dude. I would love, honestly, Adrian Peterson there.
Ooh,
Adrian Peterson and Chase Edmonds. Let Chase Edmonds be your feature guy because they seem to like him a lot. He showed a lot to them last season. So I would like just letting Chase Edmonds ride out with that lead role and then let AP come in and clean up stuff in the red zone or even a Todd Gurley, something very similar. The Eagles, they only have Miles Sanders and then it slips down to Boston Scott. I could see that as a potential spot for James Conner, staying within the state, just going from Pittsburgh to Philly. I could see that. Lev Bell, honestly, guys, I don't know. I really don't know. I could see him maybe going to like a Denver. They only have Melvin Gordon now, and then Royce Freeman. So I could see maybe Denver. I could also see a team like the Bills that just say, hey, we're going to take ETN. We're going to take Bell. We're going to take Singletary. We're just always going to have a good running back that we can throw out on the field,
What about Miami?
Miami, I like Salvin. I like Mr. Ahmed.
I mean, they aren't the same pedigree, and I think that they have a lot of potential to be better. Mm-hmm. But if they kind of wanted, we thought Matt Breida was going to be kind of like the bell cow. Like, I remember how much hype there was in the beginning of the season. Yeah. And
neither of those guys, because they signed Jordan Howard,
and
they signed Matt Breida, and we got Myles Gaskins and Salvin Ahmed running the show.
I had all four running backs on my team at one point or another during my championship appearance last year, and it was hell. I could not determine who was actually playing. It was just like a shot in the dark. I felt like I was playing craps every week.
Right.
But I could see Le'Veon Bell, like that would be kind of like, all right, if you prove yourself this year, we'll give you a bigger contract. But he could really help that team, I feel, because I really like his patience behind the line. He's not one to like just hit the hole for no reason. He sits there and waits, and he was able to do that in Pittsburgh. And honestly, I think that the line in Miami is actually very similar, just a little bit younger.
Yeah.
And I think that he will be able to have that same kind of play in Miami.
I think he would like playing in Miami, but what I don't think he's going to like is playing behind those younger guys.
I mean, he played behind Clyde Edwards-Helaire and texted him, made sure it was okay for me to go there. So I'm going to say he doesn't really care. And especially since he got.
I think he may have saw himself as a better running back than Clyde Edwards-Helaire, though. Like, I feel like I don't know if he's going to be able to go out there and beat Myles Gaskin for a job right now. Myles Gaskin is getting better and better, and he's a guy that can take it up the middle and catch balls out of the backfield.
Compete. It's the NFL. Compete.
Mhm.
Like you guys had the same abilities. Compete. Show who's the best one,
Mhm.
and the best one will actually play. So you know what? If you're a football player, you honestly can't be scared of competition, especially in the NFL. There's guys gunning for your job every single time, and if you're not competing, you'll be out of the league.
Mhm.
So you know what? He's gonna have to compete because I said it's gonna be a prove it deal. There's no way he's gonna get a big contract for anything that he's done for the past 2 to 3 years.
Right. Well, what about the Chiefs, who you just mentioned? I mean, if they don't bring Bell back, could they grab one of these guys, like a Gurley to play behind CEH, like a James Conner to play behind CEH?
I guess James Conner. I don't see the benefit of Todd Gurley except that he is kind of like a bowling ball, and you know what? He might just end up being that way and just become like a bust kind of guy.
Mhm.
But James Conner, I feel, would give a little bit more upside and a little bit more stability than Todd Gurley because it almost seems like Todd Gurley's healthy every week, but he's not. You know, it's almost like they can't determine the extent of his injury, and that's kind of annoying. James Conner, if he's hurt, he's hurt. Like,
yeah,
we should know he's hurt and why he's hurt. But if he's in, he's not hurt, and he's gonna play hard. I mean, that's someone that you would want on your team behind your star running back.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think of any other teams I didn't mention here. The Jets. Could the Jets grab any of these guys? Duke, AP, Bell, Connor,
I was thinking
Gurley?
Adrian Peterson to the Jets. I mean, he's an old
They had
guy.
Frank Gore last year.
I guess he'd be a good fit for Robert Saleh. I feel like they would get together pretty well. Yeah, I wouldn't hate that.
AP to the Jets. If Gase was there, oh my God.
Oh, yeah,
oh my God. No, hell no. All right, last up, we've got some veteran wide receivers and Antonio Brown and Golden Tate. I'll start with Brown.
I'm still on the Packers, but I also like the Ravens as well.
Okay, so are we going to say that he's going to sign for a prove it deal?
A what?
A prove it deal? Like a
prove it deal. Yeah. Like he's
Okay.
going to have to take some type of discount. I mean,
Yeah.
and if that's the case too, I could also see him joining the Chiefs.
Okay, I could see him joining the Chiefs. Let me see. I mean, if it's a prove it deal and it's cheap, he might just end up going to Baltimore. There's a very strong chance
I love it.
They could. He was working out with Lamar Jackson and Marquise Brown, who's cousins.
Mhm.
So I definitely see him going there just because of the family aspect, and it's a prove it deal. They won't have to sign him to a huge contract.
Yep.
The Packers would be great. Honestly, I feel like he's going to be signed after the draft. Like, there needs to be a couple of chips to fall before teams actually know what they have and what they don't have. So he's going to be one that's going to be signed after, or even maybe close to the training camp because he's still kind of a wild card. Like,
yeah, he is.
Like he's got that talent, but
he's also a guy that doesn't like training camp.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I don't know. Whoever signs him just got to make sure to have the right helmet, make sure he wears his socks, and just kind of, it's almost like you got to baby him, and that's kind of unfortunate. And I think that Tom Brady did a very good job because he really wanted him on his side.
He made him live with him.
Yeah, like I think that was like a perfect situation, but I don't see that support system being there in Baltimore for him with his younger cousin. Like that, there'd be like a rager the entire time.
And Lamar Jackson, like I don't see.
Go ahead.
I can see Antonio Brown going to the Chiefs. I can see him doing that. Him and Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes and all that. Kelsey, I can see that. I can also see him going to the Packers as well, just to help out. I think that Aaron could get him straight. You know what I mean? I don't
keep him straight. Yeah.
Well, keep him straight. I don't see how. I don't see the Packers as that. That team where it's like, oh, I can do whatever I want. I'm good.
Oh,
you know what I mean? I see Baltimore like, with his cousin and with Lamar Jackson's like, I don't know.
Wouldn't be exactly the smartest pick. I'm not saying Lamar Jackson's like a guy that has the headlines, but he does, hang out. I see pictures of cars and with rappers, and he's staying out of trouble. That's all I can ask for.
Right.
But with Antonio Brown, I feel like that would just be like adding fuel to the crazy fire. And Baltimore really doesn't need that. Like they're almost on the cusp of being a great team with Lamar Jackson. That would just. He'd be better as a coach, like someone that doesn't affect on-field play or something like that. I'm glad Marquise Brown is with someone that has that kind of talent because Hollywood needs to start earning his name a little bit. But Baltimore, I would be kind of worried. What about New York? Do you think New York would be a good place for him to end up? The Giants.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't like it.
Yeah, no, never. I don't like it. Nah,
I don't think he's gonna like Dan Jones.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna like Jones. No, yeah, no.
That's as simple as it is. I don't think he's gonna like Dan Jones.
That's too young of a team for him. I feel
when Big Cat from Barstool was like, "Hey, what's up with the Bears? You go to the Bears." He's like, "Who's their quarterback? Nick Foles? No, thank you."
Yeah,
like. So not a knock on Dan Jones. I'm not calling him Nick Foles, but it's. I mean, sorry, bud, you're not in that.
You got to show a little bit more before you start getting those top guys wanting to play with you.
Yeah.
What about a guy like Golden Tate? Anywhere to save his career? I like the Chiefs. I like a championship team that just needs another weapon. I don't hate the Packers either. Any love for Golden Tate still?
No, he can be on the chain gang doing the first down marker. I mean, honestly, like I thought he was going to go off in New York a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that has to do with Dan Jones. A lot of it has to do with the off-field issues that were occurring, like just the stupid stuff that was coming out of New York about Golden Tate. And then he gets relegated to the practice squad.
Yep.
Like, dude, you're making millions of dollars. You get relegated to the practice squad. Like, what the hell? Like, you're not focusing on football at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And you were made an example of on a very young team with a very young coach. I think that's kind of like disappointing. It's kind of got some people chafed about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he might just end up signing for like a bottom tier team. Like, you know, I could see the Jets trying to grab him just to kind of get some veteran experience.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see who else. Maybe Atlanta, just to kind of have that back end. Even the Washington football team, just to get a little bit more firepower in the receiving team. They have gotten Curtis Samuel. They got Terry McLaurin. You know, this league's three wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he can be like a cheaper option instead of having to spend some high draft capital or try and go out and get another free agent wide receiver. Those are my picks.
I like the Bengals. I like the Bengals. Joe Burrow's going to throw the ball a lot. Just give another guy out there that can just catch 1 to 3 passes a game. Nothing important.
Yeah, I like Washington.
I don't know.
I like Washington.
With the issues that occurred with the young team last year, going to the Bengals would be the exact same thing. And I feel like
I could see that.
He would have the same thing happen,
Potentially. Yeah. It's better spot than New York, in my opinion, as far as offense goes.
Yeah.
Correct. As far as with quarterback play, because obviously Saquon's going to be taking everything up the middle and catching everything on the outside. So,
any thoughts, Leo, on Golden Tate?
I like Washington. I like him in Washington.
Oh, we lost you. Muted.
Uh-oh.
Volume up.
Can you hear me?
Nope, cannot hear you.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Can you hear me?
All right, well.
Try one more time, and then we'll move on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can't hear you. So we're going to jump into just ranking our sophomore running backs. If you guys haven't had the opportunity, be sure to like and share the video and follow us on YouTube /Take It to the Hizzy. So next up, we are ranking our sophomore running backs. Leo, if you get Mike, if it gets going, just keep talking. We'll hear you. So just running through the list here of sophomore running backs, we've got Jonathan Taylor, Dobbins, James Robinson, Cam Akers, CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Antonio Gibson, and Swift from the Lions. Nick, I'll just start with you. Who's your number one guy? If you're going off the board, we'll say it's dynasty startup. You want to attack the running back position for some of these younger guys that you've been able to see in NFL action. Who are you attacking? Who are you going after?
The one thing I want to say is that this is an amazing running back class that we've seen considering the past couple of years. Usually the past couple of years, it's usually like 1 or 2 guys popping off, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 guys on this list, and it's really hard to rank them all. For someone that loves the running backs, I have a lot of jerseys, and I've actually figured out that running backs is the number 1 position of my jerseys for football. No reason why, but I'm gonna put. I was very, very happy with what Antonio Gibson did. And the reason why I put him first is because he was drafted. And that kind of like has the team like invested in him. I'm putting James Robinson second. And I'm only putting him second because I don't know if the Jaguars or Urban Meyer is even going to walk in and be like, you know what? I think I can go out and get another running back, because I've seen in Washington, Alfred Morris have 2 straight years of 1,000-yard rushing, and he just lost his job the next year. I forgot how it happened, whatever. But what is it? I like Gibson a lot. Antonio Gibson is he's got if JD McKissick gets hurt, Gibson's gonna have top 10 potential for running backs. Mm-hmm. He can catch the ball, he can run the ball, he runs hard. He is exciting to watch actually for Washington. He just gives them it gave Washington that ability to depend on him and not have to depend on exclusively on Terry McLaurin. I mean, he really had very little help in the passing game. And with Dwayne Haskins going up and down, they were just able to hand the ball off to Antonio Gibson. And he basically was the game manager. He did not make the mistakes to hurt the team. So I got him number 1.
Okay. I'm going to go with Taylor and Akers as my top 2. I mean, obviously I was banging the Gibson drum all last year before the year started. He was my guy coming in. Taylor, I mean, he was 4th, 5th in the league in rushing yards.
I liked him.
I mean, there's a lot to be desired about Jonathan Taylor and that offensive line in Indy. I got an upgraded quarterback, so that's not a bad thing either. And Carson Wentz, what that's going to show on the field, we don't know yet, but I still feel like Taylor will have a big identity of this offense here. With Akers, I mean, he was another guy that I just loved. Talking about a bowling ball coming in. His numbers in college, I drafted him last year in a keeper league in the 2nd round. And I just could not get him off the ground. He was taking forever just to get going. Once he did, of course, he was off my team because I didn't have the roster availability. Shame on me. It's a foul on the play if I've ever seen one. But yeah, he came around, and he's definitely someone that I'm targeting. I do have a slight edge, actually, Akers over Taylor, just because Taylor has that competition at running back. He has Nyheim Hines back there who's, catching anywhere from 8 to 11 balls a week now.
And Mack is coming back too.
Yeah, Mack is coming back, and he was a guy that I was high on last year, but I don't even know if he's going to re-sign with Indy. He may have already.
He did.
He did? Okay.
He signed the 1 year, and that's
okay.
why I was saying Mack's back. So
I would assume that he's going to have a role there, but what they saw out of Taylor, it's an RB1 situation for him. So that's why I hold Akers a little bit higher than him. I still like Taylor over Dobbins. Dobbins is in a situation in Baltimore where you don't know who's going to be the runner. You know what I mean? Like with Lamar Jackson constantly, taking away touchdown opportunities in the red zone. They've anteed up with Sammy Watkins. Obviously, we're potentially talking about them getting like a Rashad Bateman or an Antonio Brown. I like him a lot because he's with a rushing quarterback, but I feel like that they are going to try and elevate the passing offense. And this year specifically, I don't love him over those two guys.
Dobbins has that pass catching ability. He has that ability to be able to go with the change of the offensive philosophy or adding more passing to it. Dobbins is actually my dark horse. I love how he is, like, without a doubt to me, he can definitely do both. And, he does have, a change, like a philosophy change compared to the other guys where they're running the ball a lot of times and he's basically being like a second option to Lamar Jackson.
Right.
But with more passing happening, there's probably going to be less stress on Lamar. And he's going to, Dobbins is going to be able to be that third down back, but also be that first and second down back. Some of these guys have that, either their first and second or their third down back, and that kind of like splits their production. Like Gibson, J.D. McKissick is that third down back. But Dobbins, I feel like he's, no matter what the offense is, he's still going to be able to produce in a number of different ways. So he's my dark horse of like breaking out and going above the other guys. The other guys had great seasons for sure, but it's just Lamar is the guy above him and he's a quarterback. So they need to adjust to make Dobbins more of a focal point in the rushing game.
Right, exactly. And that's why I'm just going to have him behind those top guys. I still love Robinson and Gibson. They're probably my next two. Leo, you got any volume over there? What's up? Anything?
Nope, not yet.
Nope. Sorry, bud. Gibson and Robinson would be my next two after Taylor and Akers. Situation is really good for Gibson in Washington. I think that having a better quarterback there is going to give him a lot more upside. And then in Robinson, I mean, same situation. You're getting a better quarterback, but maybe you get a little bit less run because of it, right? Maybe, Shark, Chenal, maybe if they drafted Kadarius Toney, maybe those guys get a little bit more inclusion with a real quarterback at the at the helm. So I'm suspecting a little bit, a very small decline for Robinson, but I think his value is going to be pretty steady. But long term, Akers and Taylor are the guys that I like the most. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I like him. He's good. He was a guy that we were talking up a lot last year, but
he's a fifth option on that offense.
He didn't show up after week one. Like, he just didn't show up for the rest of the year. They had to go out and get Le'Veon Bell. Like, we can't be that excited about Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming into the season. I would still suspect that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be buyers either in the draft for another running back or in free agency with those guys that we rattled off. And then Swift, I just think he's on the outside looking in a situation in Detroit where we just don't know what it's going to look like. Jared Goff, he's a quick hitter, needs to get the ball out within, 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds. Is Swift going to catch more balls because of this? We don't really know. We don't know what the scheme's going to look like there. Honestly, he could climb to the top of this list if they don't get another receiver, because he could just take over the offense. We just really have no idea, and that uncertainty leaves him behind the 8 ball for me. So I like a lot of these other guys ahead of him. Anything, Leo?
Can you hear me now?
No, I don't know what happened, man. We lost Leo for the end of the show here. So you got anything to close it out there, Nick, with the rest of those running backs?
Swift's definitely on the bottom of the list.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I don't believe in the Detroit offense, and there has to be a little bit more consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And even Barry Sanders, he has the most negative yards in the NFL history, just because around him was so bad. But he's still like second or third on the all-time rushing list. So I do not see Swift being like Barry Sanders to be able to overcome all those negative yardage. He's at the bottom of the list until I start seeing a little bit more come out offensively for Detroit. So maybe Campbell can figure something out with Goff, but I don't see it right now.
Yeah, I would still have him maybe just an edge, a hair over Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Hilaire's in an awesome offense, but at the same time, like you mentioned, he is kind of like that fifth option, right? Like, and he didn't seem that comfortable. We're back for a moment. Now we're going to head out of the show. For some reason, our outro kicked in, so now we're out. We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.
This was Take It to Hizzy, TITTH number 128. We'll see you next Sunday for more football talk. Leo, give the people a wave goodbye. He can hear us, but we can't hear him.
Can you hear me?
All right, take care. Well, take care. Be well, guys. We'll see you next time.